Hey, what's happening out there? This is Halftime Prep Talk. As always, HTPT is sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family. Here today, Zack Klemme, sports writer, and I'm Aaron Snyder, sports editor of The Independent. You're watching us on dailyindependent.com, and I want to say that from now on, you can watch us on Fridays at noon. We thought it would work out better. We can recap, Tuesday's games leading into Fridays and the weekend's games. So hopefully that works out for you. I hope you're watching. I'm not sure because Sunday was no proof of that. We showed up at Buffalo Wild Wings in Ironton for the NFL playoffs, as we announced last week, as Matt and I announced. The Packers-Cowboys game, which was a great game. Didn't like the ending. Not that I don't like the Packers or anything like that, but just, we'll get to that in a second. But we got a table for 8, and we had 2 empty chairs. One was for Rocky Stanley, veteran sports writer here, under the weather. So he missed.
Game time decision.
A game time decision. Texted me, I think, 10 minutes before kickoff, and he missed out. And then we had another empty seat, and it stayed empty the whole time because you guys didn't show up. We offered free wings, your choice of flavor, and you didn't show. It plunged me into deep depression.
Clearly.
And I don't know how I'm going to recover.
Counseling.
How are the Cowboys going to recover, though, after Des Bryant makes the catch? He took 3 steps.
Made a football move. He stretched the ball toward the goal line.
I think he made multiple football moves.
Yeah.
He even, I think he spun and danced and everything. And then he fell down, and the ball pops out. And, to me.
So to you, that's a fumble?
To me, no. To me, that's not a fumble. I mean, the ball came out when he went down,
right.
But he had already, he was touched. He was contacted by the opposing player. When you're contacted by an opposing player, and you go down, and the ground causes the ball to pop loose, that is not a fumble,
right. The
correct?
ground cannot cause a fumble.
So why is that not a catch? That's my question.
According to the rules of common sense, that should be a catch. I don't know that that's what
common sense,
the National Football League goes by.
Okay.
Common sense.
Well, anyway, the offer is now off the table for B-dubs.
Sorry about your luck.
But it's okay. It's okay. I'm not too mad. We can get past this. This time I want to bring your attention to the Zanzi's ticker. There you'll see some upcoming games this weekend, so get off the couch and get out to the gym. Check out some of these games, some good basketball games coming up, right? Now, as far as recapping the rest of the week, before we get into more high school basketball, which, by the way, special guest today, Ashland girls basketball coach Bill Bradley and senior Haley Sue Foutch will be gracing us with their presence shortly. Let's talk college football. Who won the championship? I already forgot.
I think it was Ohio State.
It's on to the next one. That's the thing about this. I am a member of the media. I get that.
True.
But it's like that right after Urban Meyer lifts the trophy and they win the championship, Ohio State, what a great story it was. It's like the next morning he's asked, how tough is it going to be to repeat? It's like let them enjoy the moment a little bit longer.
Well, if you're a member of the media, what that means is that you need to dwell on things that don't matter and don't make sense, and you need to skip past significant accomplishments and just pretend they didn't happen and move on to the next thing. That's what it means.
All right.
That's
I'll start practicing that in local media then.
And also, you mentioned the trophy. Wasn't that really an ugly trophy? Can they go back to the crystal football?
Yeah.
That wasn't a BCS thing because they used that before the BCS, so why did they just decide to go away from it?
I like the crystal. I wouldn't even kiss that trophy.
No, it was pretty ugly looking.
Ezekiel Elliott had no problems with it.
No.
He's still.
No. As long as the shirt was pulled down by that point.
I think it was.
So it was fine.
Yeah. I think he switched shirts at halftime because he was like had a half shirt in the first half and then a full shirt in the second.
That's true.
But, as long as he can run the way he does, I don't think anybody will.
Maybe ESPN told him to avoid like a wardrobe malfunction or something.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be too careful about these things.
That's true. All right, let's go to high school basketball.
Yes, please.
Balls in their court. Nice catch.
That's right.
Zach, who you got? Who's your game ball?
I think we're going to go with Kristen Mayo from East Carter, sophomore point guard. she really played big this week, and she plays big just about every week, runs that offense. But a lot of times she's more of a facilitator than a scorer because that's not necessarily what they need her to do. But got to see them against Boyd County on Saturday night, and they were in some trouble with being able to run their offense and score. And so she hit 5 3-pointers in the second half and overtime and helped them come back. And 23 points total, 17 against West earlier in the week, 4 threes, and then 11 against Elliott. They didn't need her to score a lot against Elliott because that's, not how they run their offense in that type of game. But big week for her and a big week for East Carter as well, as we'll get to later.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Christian Villers from Ashland. 46 points, enough said there. But, I think it's amazing, too, that I know Ashland is struggling right now, and they're 0-16. I get that. But Christian Villers, all these opposing defenses know that he is their scoring threat. Yet, even against Russell, I mean, I thought they played pretty decent defense by all accounts against Villers, but he worked to get those shots off, and he shot 32 times. I know that, but he made 50% of them. And he was 11 of 14 at the line, so he still worked his way to the free throw line. So, remarkable effort from Christian Villers, despite the tough season by the team. A great individual effort for him. 46 points, just 8 shy of a school record. Other worthy candidates, Ryan Callahan, Justin Graham from Rowan County had some great games this week too, but I'm going to go with Christian Villers.
I think that shows too. Buddy said all along, Buddy Biggs, Ashland's coach, that they have to get, even going back to the beginning of the season, okay, they've got Nick Miller, they've got Villers, who else have they got? And Miller goes down, and he may be back by February and maybe not. We're not sure about that yet, but this is just another manifestation of the fact that they have to find somebody else that can do something, and they just don't have any consistency other than Villers at this stage.
Yeah. Moving on to our three-point shot, top 3 games of the weekend. Let's go to Friday night. Lewis County, Greenup County boys, 63rd District matchup. Greenup County coming off a 1-point loss to West Carter. Tough loss there. And Lewis County played well against Russell, beat them by 17 points. So what do you expect here?
Well, Lewis beat Greenup the first time, and Lewis is 2-0 in seeding right now, and Greenup is 1-2. So, but it was a reasonably close game the first time, and Greenup, we know when Greenup is playing well, they play as well as any team in the region if they're hitting outside shots, if they're able to get the ball down low to Jai Jackson. So it'll determine how his ankle is. He banged it up a little bit last week against Raceland. If he's at full strength and if they're able to run their offense and get good shots, then Greenup's a good team. But we know that Lewis is strong inside as well. So probably want to just almost a coin toss, really.
I think Jeremy McCann at 6'4" and Jacob Keebler 6'8" for Lewis County. They offer a couple of good interior presences as well. Trenton Walker is kind of their leading scorer, and Jake Parker had a nice game against Russell. That was good to see. Huge. I think from Coach Hampton's perspective, it was nice to see that. Showing a little bit of flashes here and there offensively, but they're still going to have to lean on defense throughout the season, and they'll do so against Greenup County too. It should be a good game. A good game on Friday night.
If they make Greenup shoot contested threes instead of open threes, then I like Lewis's chances.
Yeah. Saturday, as I said before, we'll bring in Ashland girls basketball representatives here in a little bit as our special guests, but they're going to have a tough game. Huntington was undefeated until Tuesday night. They lost to Spring Valley, a narrow loss there. But they're going to meet them in Fairland Saturday at 6:15. The Kittens, they don't back down from a tough schedule. They're in like 5 or 6 showcases slash tournaments throughout the season this year. The region offers enough competition, but they're going outside of it too, and it's really boded well for them because they are number 8 in the state right now. Huntington, though, I don't know a whole lot about them. I know they have a fine record. They're typically a tough matchup for any team in this area. I think that should be a really dandy of a game.
The thing about West Virginia and Ohio teams too is that they don't play as many games as early as Kentucky teams do, so they maybe not have been tested to the level that Ashland has yet, not knowing a lot about Huntington's schedule. So
I think they're 7-1, which, to your point, they've only played 8 games, where Ashland has played 14. 16th Region All-A Classic first round coming up Saturday, various sites, and then they'll move to Menifee County Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Looking at the bracket a little bit, you've got Morgan County, Elliott County, Raceland, Fairview, maybe the top 4 teams on the boys' side. Of course, you got to throw West Carter in there. I guess that's probably the best first-round matchup, Fairview West, right?
Has to be. They played in the season opener December 2nd, and West Carter got a good win at Fairview, 73-69, close game all the way. And you know, I think Fairview has improved since then, and West Carter has been inconsistent a little bit. So we'll see, kind of maybe what West Carter is able to do, having some familiarity with Fairview. But easily the best first-round game.
On the girls' side, some of the strongest teams. I think Bath County has Sarah Price back. Then you look at Menifee County. They've kind of struggled a little bit, but in this field, I think they're one of the stronger teams. And then you throw Raceland in there, who's played pretty well lately.
Yeah, and you know, Bath County and Raceland come out of that same side of the bracket, and they'll probably play in the semifinals. So you might think maybe whoever does that will have a shot to play maybe Menifee, which all three things are at home. All three games are at home for them because they're hosting the semis and the finals. So that gives Menifee probably a little bit of an edge. They have a different gym. It's an interesting atmosphere for those who haven't been there, so that gives them probably a little bit of an edge.
Have you been there?
Yes.
I've not been there.
It's an interesting place.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Frenchburg.
Probably the darkest gym in the region.
I did kind of travel back in time the other night. I went to Ironton St. Joe, and it felt like I was in the 1800s. They had like medieval arches and the
yeah,
really neat place though.
Yeah, Kevin Goldie got a nice photo that we used big on the front of kind of the facade in the background, and it was just a neat atmosphere.
Absolutely. Moving on to 2 cents worth. We're going to pick a couple items from the point guard's dime.
Who writes that?
Point guard.
Who's the point guard?
Oh, that's me. I guess I shouldn't talk in third person.
Probably not.
All right. Yeah, I wrote that. And we're going to pick out a couple items from it. One being Raceland boys. We touched on that a little bit, but Raceland boys in the 63rd district, do you think they might be the favorite now?
Well, I think we'll find out more after they play Lewis, and they're supposed to play, I think, January 2nd. If memory serves, and that game got pushed back because of some other stuff that was going on. Bill Tom, Ross's visitation, but those two are both 2-0, Raceland and Lewis in the district, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know, Lewis has, again, as we mentioned, an interior presence, but they haven't played anybody maybe with quite the leaping ability of Connor Messer, what he'll bring inside. Jair Jackson is comparable to that probably, but we'll kind of see what happens when those two play. But Raceland probably at this point is looking like the best team in that district.
Yeah, Jacob Blair and Tyler Morrison, those guys, they're playing real well right now for Bob Trimble. I think they're 10-4. The Rams did lose to Rowan, but Rowan's one of the better teams in the region. I think Raceland, though, in the 63rd district, in those confines, I think they can really compete. East Carter's girls, kind of on a roll. They beat Ashland and Boyd County in a span of 8 days. Two fellow top-tier teams, and to beat them twice on the road in a span of 8 days is impressive.
Yeah, and you look at, you throw Boyd County in that mix too, and we've talked a lot about the parity of the region and how top-heavy it is and how strong really the top 4 or 5 teams are at the top of that region. But you look at it in a span of a couple weeks, you know, East and Ashland have played twice and both won 1-point games, and Ashland barely beat Boyd by 3 at home, and then East goes to Boyd and wins in overtime. So really those 3 probably on any given night, as the old saying goes, any one of those 3 could be at the top, and you can put them really in any order probably. You
know, and like you mentioned, you gave your game ball to Kristen Mayo earlier. Between, you know, with the way she's improved her shot, and then Haley Hall improving offensively, actually her all-around game, that backcourt is tough to handle.
And Hager Easterling's talked about the confidence that Haley Hall has to keep shooting. She didn't play well early against Boyd, but took the 3-pointer that tied the game, and then had the baskets that put them ahead to stay in overtime, and has really emerged over the course of the last year or so.
All right, well, we're going to stick with the girls basketball as a subject, and we'll bring in Ashland coach Bill Bradley and senior Haley Sue Foutch. So stick around. All right, we want to welcome in Bill Bradley, Ashland girls basketball coach, onto the HTPT set. Coach Bradley, it's great to have you down here.
Nice to be here.
Coach, one of the first times I met you was the 2007-2008 season. And I was covering Ashland girls versus Russell, and I just looked up the score actually before we came on. It was, you guys won the game 51-45 at Russell. But you started approaching, it was like a heated moment of the game. It was either late third quarter, early fourth. You started approaching the scores table, and I'm like, what's he doing? And you came up to me, and you reached in your pocket and pulled out a picture of your daughter. And later I asked you about it, and you said that helped calm you down a little bit. Do you still do that? Do you still carry the pictures around?
We still, they're on my phone now, and I still have both my daughters on my phone and my wife, but I've calmed down a little bit more, and I don't have to pull them out too often, but yeah, it was a great game. Coach Kidwell and I had a great relationship on the court, but it was a really good battle back then, and I probably need a little calming down at one point.
Well, I'm sure. I think his face turned 50 Shades of Red too. So he may have even got teed up. I don't want to say that, not for a fact or anything, but Merle, if you're watching, you may have gotten teed up in that game. Now you had to wait a little while to get to Bowling Green, but once you did, and this is how the rest of the region looks at it anyway, when it rains it pours, because it came in bunches for you guys, and you guys are 3 in a row now, 3-time defending 16th region champions. What is that feeling like? How do you sum it up, just being able to take your team down to Bowling Green and not watch from the stands but be on the court?
Yeah, well, we came so close a couple of times. In '08, the year you're talking about, we made to the finals against Rowan and got beat by a basket. So that kind of left a sour taste in our mouth, and we made to the semis in 9 and 10. And then 11, we were really good. I think we had 29 wins that year, and we had beaten Boyd County 4 times, and then played them a 5th time, and they got us in the finals. So after that, in fact, Haley Sue was an 8th grader then. She'll be with us today, and she promised the next 4 years we're going to state. Don't worry about it. So since then, we've won 3 in a row, and we're going for number 4 now. But it's a great feeling, and it was really rough, especially that last year, looking down on it, watching, knowing we could have been there. And then the girls, aren't satisfied. They won the first year, and then each year after that, they just say they want to go a little further, and then they have.
Yeah, they have. They followed through on that, and Haley Sue's followed through on that. And you guys went all the way to the semifinals last year. What a great run that was. And I was glad you got to go that far, because we kind of had a setup where Rocky Stanley, our veteran sports reporter, he went on down, but then he was going on vacation like that the day that you guys would have played in the semifinals. So we had plans. I was going to take over coverage if you guys made it that far, and I'm glad you did, because I always like making that trip. It's a great tournament and a great scene.
Yeah, the atmosphere was great, and we had a great draw as far as time. We had the first game of the tournament, and Vaughn Perry, who used to coach at West Carter, told me, if you win that first game, you'll love this draw. You had a day in between, you got all day to rest. You had the first game on Friday. She said, you really like it, and it worked out perfect. We had the same dressing room. We had a great dressing room every game, and our routine was down, and we didn't have to change a thing. And I think that really helped us to go that far. Well,
so far this year, a good start, 11-3, and you guys are number 8 in the latest AP state rankings. What's that mean to your team?
They look at them, and so do we. We want our team to have exposure, especially this end of the state. We want the teams and the riders from Lexington and Louisville and around the state to see our name out there. I think our region has really done well. Ourselves and East Carter and Lewis all went to that big tournament in Lexington, and we all did well. We all represented well and beat some good teams down there. So I think this whole area is getting a lot more respect than they used to.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you're going in against an unbeaten Huntington team coming up Saturday at Fairland. I think Boyd County's involved in that showcase as well. What do you know about Huntington?
Well, Coach Whittick, our main scout, he scouted them last night, and they're very quick. They have 2 great players, Dawson and Congleton, I think their names are, and I've heard about them before. So they're really quick. They run fast breaks, so it's gonna be a test for us for sure. That's just one of the many shootouts we've decided to play this year. I think we're in 6 shootouts, plus that tournament in Lexington, and they're all top-notch competition. And these girls want more. They don't want easy games. They want to be in those tight ones just to get ready for tournament.
Alexis Robinson, obviously a star point guard for you for several years now. It's probably hard to believe for you that she's a senior now. But along with the, just a slew of talent you have on the team right now. But Alexis, have you noticed a difference in her since she signed with Colorado this season? Is she playing more relaxed?
She really is. In fact, each game we noticed a little bit more. Like last night we played Fairview, and she doesn't force things. Now, for a while she'd pass too much to get us involved. And certain times of the game before, she'd try to take over, which she shouldn't. She kind of forced things a little bit. But like last night was a prime example. She scored when she needs to. If she has open shots, she'll take it. And just her decision making now is just top notch compared to what it was when she was a freshman on up.
I know you guys are working on developing depth, and it seems to be coming along. You do have your core 4 though, and with Mikasa and Alexis and Haley Sue and Shelby Gransberry, that talent in the starting lineup. Have you ever coached that talented a starting lineup before?
No, really any level. I was with the boys for 15 years in Boyd County, 6 years at Holy Family, and we had a couple of D1s at both places, but not for very possible D1s on one team, and it's just been amazing. And they like each other, they get along. There's no ball hog. We have 4 averaging double figures, and they don't care. They don't even look at the stat book after the game, and that's what makes it such a pleasure to coach those guys.
You know what it takes now. These girls know what it takes to get to the state semifinals like you did last year, and to win this region, which it's stacked. It really is. When you think about it, what will it take to pull off number 4 in the region as far as region titles go?
We hope our depth's a little bit more, but our 4 you have to stay on the floor. And they've been playing 30 to 32 minutes a game and doing it well. They're in shape. Those 4 almost have to be there almost for the entirety. I think we do that, stay out of foul trouble, stay healthy, and the rest I think will take care of itself.
I know we've talked about this before. You're a fan of the Yankees and the Celtics. The Yankees offseason, they weren't very active this offseason, were they?
No, I saw for a couple of signees, maybe Scherzer from the Tigers or another good pitcher, but we'll be okay. We'll be all right. We don't talk about the Celtics yet.
Don't even bring it up, huh?
No.
Rondo, though, it's hard to lose him.
It was, and he's a franchise player, and that makes the team he went to, up to the top notch of that whole conference, I believe.
All right, you got the NFC Championship, AFC Championship coming up this weekend. Who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl?
Patriots and Packers.
Pats and Pack. You heard it here. Bill Bradley. All right, we're going to bring in Haley Sue Foutch, talk a little bit more about Ashland basketball. Good luck the rest of the season. Always good to talk to you.
And she's a lovely young lady, let me tell you. You'll enjoy it.
All right. Joined by Haley Sue Foutch, senior for the Ashland girls basketball team. Haley Sue, you've been starting for how many years now for Ashland?
3.
And it's been quite a ride for you guys in those years. And, of course, this year you guys are ranked number 8 in the state. Do you guys pay attention to those rankings?
Well, we pay attention to them just like we like to get the recognition, like we know that our hard work is paying off. But I don't really think it determines like how we play or approach like different games. We don't really think about what other teams are.
Yeah.
So we don't really focus on ours either.
Always a really challenging schedule for you guys. You guys have test after test, and this coming weekend you guys will face a team that was unbeaten until Tuesday night, Huntington. I don't know. Do you know much about them?
I don't know personally. I don't know a lot. I know they're good. I know they're quick and they have good guards and stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good game and another good test for us. This season is especially killer compared to all the other ones.
How important is it, though, to face a tough schedule like this to get you ready for March?
Those intense games really help you when it comes to tournament time because you've already been there. You've been in the close, tight ones, so you know what to do and what not to do. So.
And of course, there's tough competition within the region too. You don't have to travel outside the region around here these days because there's so much talent. A lot of times, it seems like, though, in your matchups, personal matchups, you might be considered undersized, when you go up against your opponent. How do you approach that when you might have to play the 5 spot and, there might be somebody bigger than you? How do you approach that every game?
I praise Coach Whittick for his scouting reports. I look those things over time and time again because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know, their little moves that help me when I'm undersized. For the Mercy game, for example, I stuck to the scouting report and it worked to a T because that girl was barely bigger than me.
So that's nice to have then.
Yes.
Coach Whittick comes through, huh?
Yeah.
Sweet 16, 3 in a row, going for 4. But last year was special for you guys because you made it to the state semifinals. You were the player of the game against Danville. You had 19 points, 13 rebounds, I think 3 blocks. What was that particular game and that moment like for you at the time?
It was incredibly special. We all were just so excited. We were so happy, that we were to be there, obviously. And we were just living up to the moment and the fact that I had 4 fouls in, the first half?
Yeah, I think so.
A little bit stressful, but
Yeah.
I'm glad we came out with the win.
Yeah, I think you played the whole second half with 4 fouls. Just as you did recently against Boyd, you played the whole fourth quarter at least with 4 fouls. How are you able to stay out of that? How are you able to stay away from that number 5? Because I know you haven't fouled out very often.
Not really sure. I guess this mindset, just in my mind, I'm very cautious. Like, I know not to back down. Like, I'm not going to back down on defense just because I'm in foul trouble. I'm going to play defense to the best of my ability. I just have to be smarter about it.
What's it like playing for Coach Bradley? Does he ever get mad? I've never seen him get mad.
He's a character. And he has his moments where he's mad. Most of the time, he will yell at you even if it isn't your fault. You just gotta take it, and then he will apologize to you after the game. So, I mean, it's...
So he has his intense moments.
Yes.
Well, for the most part, it seems like he keeps his cool, though, and his composure, and that reflects on the team, too. And that's really paid dividends for you guys, I think, in this run of 3 straight region titles. And I know you're going for number 4. What do you think the main key is to get to pull it off again here in your senior year?
Well, we really need to stay out of foul trouble. We got to stay healthy. I think if we can do those 2 things, that we'll be fine. We're very talented, and I mean the other teams are too. But if we do those 2 things, then we have a really good shot.
Let's talk about your family a little bit. You got a big family. You have 3 siblings, right? And then your mother and father. Of course, your dad is a scorekeeper for the team. Last year, though, was a pretty neat situation. I wrote about it actually for the paper. And Ashby, your sister, Ashby Lee, your sister was in Greece, and here in Ashland, and you were obviously in Bowling Green. What was that situation like?
I was kind of upset because I didn't get to see her be Sandy in Greece, but at the same time, like, I was wanted to be at the state tournament, and she felt the same way. So, like, we were texting each other constantly. Like, I told her to break a leg. She was telling me good luck. Like, so, and I feel bad for my mom. She was having to drive back and forth.
No doubt. Now, how talented is she on stage?
I am amazed by what she does on stage. She just takes over. Like, the way when she's on stage and acting, it's just her presence is just amazing.
Of course, you know, like I mentioned, your dad is the scorekeeper. What's that been like? You know, I know he used to coach you too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was my middle school coach.
Okay.
And my mom was my elementary school coach, but...
Do you like having him on the sideline during games?
Depends. Sometimes I hear him, like, yelling, like, if I've come out or I'm going back in or whatever, he'll yell at me, like, make these little remarks, and I'm just like, I just look at him. I don't say anything. I just look at him.
Does he know the look?
Yes, he knows the look. I have his little look. You know if I'm not happy.
Is there any player in particular that you like to watch or maybe even model your game after?
I really like the girl from Connecticut, the really tall one. She's 6'5".
Yeah.
But she plays like a guard. And she can post you up, but then she'll take you outside and shoot threes. Like, it's amazing.
Well, if there's anybody in women's basketball to watch, it's Connecticut. Year in and year out, they have a special program there for sure. I asked you this before we came on, but I want to ask you again. Is college basketball possibly in your future?
Possibly. I'm not completely sure. I mean, I love basketball, but I've never experienced the not playing basketball, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know, you can keep your options open for now. Speaking of options, I'm trying a new portion of the player interview. We're going with either or.
Okay.
We'll give you a layup, a free throw, a three-point shot, and then a half-court shot. Okay, the layup, chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
Vanilla.
All right, free throw, Katy Perry or Taylor Swift?
Katy Perry.
That was easy. She's going to be the halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl. Three-pointer, math or English?
Math.
And then here's the doozy, half-court shot, Sports Center or The Bachelor?
Sports Center.
Oh, that was easy. I thought you would say that. I predicted that. All right.
All the way. excited.
Awesome. Well, Haley Sue, it was great to have you on. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
I'm sure you guys will make the region proud again if you get to state tournament. But I know it's going to be a tough road again. You know, you got East Carter, Boyd County, and then several others. So it should be a fun rest of the year.
It should. I'm excited.
All right, thanks. Zach, it's time for a 2 for the road, and then we'll
Hit the road.
There you go.
Ha.
You want to go first?
I can.
Go.
We got to cover Boyd County and Mason County boys game on Tuesday night, and it was kind of an interesting game because it matched the team with the best record in the 16th region, and that's Boyd, and the team with the best record in the 10th, and that's Mason. And it's hard to tell, obviously, it being mid-January, who's really the best team in the region, and there's not really a runaway in either of those regions at the top. But Mason County was able to come into Boyd and kind of establish its tempo and bother Boyd a little bit defensively, and a comfortable victory. And so that kind of got us to thinking of where exactly the 16th region stands in relation to some of the regions that border it. And I went back and looked, and the 16th region's combined composite record against non-region teams is 43 and 61. Boyd hasn't lost in the region, but it's lost to 2 out-of-region teams. You know, Dunbar in the AIT, and Rowan tested itself a little bit outside the region, and let's see, they haven't been great outside the region either.
Rowan County beat Boyd County, but outside of that, or I mean, lost to Boyd County, I should say. Outside of that, though,
undefeated in the region.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
And they're 4-2 against teams outside the region. Rowan is. So, you know, I think that particularly the Mason Boyd game just kind of illustrates that Boyd is as close to the top of the region as we have that we can say right now for sure. And it's just an illustration that whoever comes out of this region has got some work to do when it gets to the state tournament. It's too early to say that, you know, whoever's going to go down there is going to lose by 30 or whatever. And Randy Anderson said some good stuff after the game about how it's a good measuring stick and this shows us what we need to do and where we need to improve. And it can only benefit Boyd to play a game like that right now, or Rowan to play a Bryan Station or somebody like that. But just kind of an indication that our top tier teams probably have a little bit of work to do before they're going to be ready to be really competitive on the state level. And
always a factor in that is the Sweet 16 draw. And the draw, like a few years ago, as an example, when Rowan County made it all the way to the championship, I thought they were a strong team, but I didn't feel like going into the field that they were, you know, one of the top 2 teams in the state. But they got on a roll at the right time.
Favorable draw.
A favorable draw. They took advantage of that. They won the first game, and then they pulled off a couple upsets. What I would call upsets. Played out of their minds. You know, when they beat Bullitt East, and then they almost pulled it off against Christian County. So when you get to that point, you never know. But they did have a favorable draw, and when you're able to do that, you know, if you can get past that first game, that's such a huge mental hurdle that you've cleared that you might be cleared for takeoff. I'm going to go with the Colts as my 1 for the road because I think they're going to travel the road all the way to the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to win it. I think Andrew Luck gets the Lombardi Trophy this year. I think it's his time. The reason I say that is not just because of Andrew Luck. I think Indianapolis's defense has been playing the best it has all season at the right time. I like Vontae Davis in the secondary kind of leading that group, and then you got a good core of linebackers. And they've been really impressive against, you know, I know Cincinnati was kind of depleted offensively, but Denver, even an injured Peyton Manning is still, you know, it's still Peyton Manning, and they've got good weapons, and they held them to 13 points, you know, with the Thomases and C.J. Anderson. So Indianapolis has only given up 23 points in the first 2 playoff games. And I think, you know, going into New England, I don't think there's going to be any intimidation factor. And when the ball is in Andrew Luck's hands, and if they have the lead, it's just it's next to impossible to come back against him. It's really, I mean, as a Bengals fan, it's frustrating to watch because they dug a hole early in the 3rd quarter. And I even made the comment after Luck threw that touchdown pass to Dante Moncrief and made it 20-10. I said, with this guy at quarterback, if you're the opposing team and they have a 10-point lead, you're just not going to come back. It's over. You're not going to come back against them.
They play with such poise offensively. It's not just luck. They have a solid running game as well, and their offensive line has played better.
Dan Herron has played well running the football.
Yeah.
So I like Indianapolis to upset New England, and then I think they're going to beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, which is the complete opposite of what Bill Bradley predicted. He predicted the Packers and the Patriots, so you never know.
Should be great either way. 4 very good teams left. So
Absolutely.
Should be good.
All right, you've watched HTPT on dailyindependent.com. Remember, the show is always sponsored by Fannin Automotive Family. From Zack Klemme, I'm Aaron Snyder. Thanks for watching.